Hi, I'm Keith Allen, and I play Murphy on Z Nation, and I listen to One Up Gaming Podcast.
Hi, I'm Lucy James, and I listen to the One Up Gaming Podcast.
It's the One Up Gaming Podcast, hosted by David, Sean, and Zach.
Hello and welcome to the One Up Gaming Podcast, episode 193. Now, this week is going to be something completely different, as unfortunately it is just me recording this, going somewhere to find a Wi-Fi spot and then uploading, because I was supposed to be moving over to Sky, and they cancelled my TalkTalk service, put the Sky phone line in, and then they said there was problems with the broadband, and that's still a week and a half ago, so that still hasn't happened. And then they came to fit the dish, and they said, oh, you've got nowhere to put the dish, you'll have to get a private engineer to fit a pole on the roof. And I've rang round, and it's like £175. It's like, yeah, I'm going to cancel that. So unfortunately, I'm still 2 weeks away from getting any sort of broadband service, so I can't chat to anyone else really. And other problems happened where my girlfriend, her mother passed away about a week ago now, and yeah, things have been quite hard on everyone. So because of that, I think it's just funeral costs, getting everything sorted, all the fees, everything. I think we're going to have to put on hold our charity event, because unfortunately I can't pay like £1,000 for that. So unfortunately the charity event in Glasgow on the 29th of April, that I believe as of now will have to stop, and so we won't be pushing that anymore. I'll email around a couple of the people just to confirm everything, and then I'll get back and like delete things on the website as soon as I get internet to get back onto the website. Anyway, because of that, this podcast is going to be a little bit different. I will say, please check out our website, which is oneupgaming.co.uk. Please check out our Facebook, our everything, like Twitter. So it's basically just search either One Up Gaming or OUG Official, and you should find us. As I say, we won't have any updates for any reviews for the next week or two. Hopefully, if I go back to TalkTalk, I can try and get everything sorted out as soon as possible. Other than that, this podcast, I have 4 movies, TV shows that we were going to make a separate podcast where we talk about movies and TV shows. But unfortunately, I couldn't get enough people around every week to sort of talk about things like that. So basically, I'll just take the first 4 bits and put it on to this episode at the end of this. So we're going to talk about BoJack Horseman, Deadpool, F is for Family, and Spotlight. So as you can tell, they are all a good 6 months to a year old. That's how long ago that was planned. Other than that, there is not a great deal else I can say. Obviously, I'm not using Zencastr with this recording, as I'm just loading up my editing software and just chatting straight into it with the microphone. But when we do use Zencastr, you can get 20% off using the code OneUp20. And that, I believe, my friends, will do. So please send us any questions. I've got a big pile of stuff I can give away now that we were using for our charity event. So any questions you've got, if you're lucky enough, we'll select them and send prizes out. Follow us on Twitter at OUG Official. Tweet us at OUG Official. Email us at contact@oneupgaming.co.uk. And subscribe to our podcast. Just go onto iTunes and search One Up Gaming, and you'll find the One Up Gaming show. So again, This is episode 193. So thank you all. I will come back at the end with just the thank yous and goodbyes. So take it away, guys.
Up next on the One Up Gaming Podcast is 10 minutes of nothing. Will it be the team talking about nothing or a guest interview? Stick around and find out now. It's 10 minutes of nothing. Yeah, 10 minutes of nothing.
Right then, so we're back again and we're going to talk about a movie. So, Bob, what are you going to talk about today?
I'm going to talk about Deadpool, the movie.
So, first of all, is it any good?
I think I'm a huge action movie and especially superhero movie fan. So I would say that it's a must-watch, kind of.
Because I think this is from the Fox sort of side of things, isn't it?
It's like a... I mean, if you know the character Deadpool, he's like a...
Yeah.
He's kind of a comical kind of person. He likes to joke around.
Because, I mean, it was in that Bad Wolverine movie. And I think it was also
he was
Ryan,
in the
Ryan Reynolds
Wolverine 1. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Which coincidentally was shot here in our university.
That's cool.
Yeah, the scene where they attack a building or something. They enter the building.
Bit where they tried to get Scott Summers, Cyclops, and he rips a hole in the ceiling?
Do you remember the first scene where they go after a stone or something?
I can't remember.
Okay, so they look at, I think so, yeah, they showcase that they're in South Africa and they go after a stone of some kind. So, there's a building they show and that's actually here in our university. But they shot it here. So, in that scene you can see Deadpool as Ryan Reynolds slicing a bullet. Do you remember that scene? He slices a bullet which goes to a different which diverges into different directions, killing people.
I'll be honest, I think I've blocked out a lot of that movie. I remember that they quickly added Gambit into the movie.
Yeah.
And he just sort of appeared out of nowhere, and then he just, right at the end, just like, I'm going, and just ran off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't really written in very well. They just added him in for added sake. So anyway, let's not talk about movies that are about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Let's get into the newer version then. So do you think that they've actually handled it a lot better this time than last time?
I would say yes. I mean, the storyline is quite good and much more interesting. Having played the game before, the Deadpool game, I would say that, yeah, it's if you're a Deadpool fan, which I am now, after playing the game and watching the movie, I think that it's a
I think everyone became a fan of Deadpool just after the game. Not considering, like, the game's like subpar, it's okay, in the middle sort of thing, but then it's just Deadpool, the character, just sold that game. That's the
that's the thing. I mean, his commentary on everything is what is the selling point of the game.
Because I know the game, it's got the voice actor that's in everything.
Yeah.
Which I don't know his name, so, you know.
There's two. It's either, oh, God. Why is it like, every time I do a podcast and I know something, I just can't remember the name. Nolan North and Troy Baker. It's one of them two. It's always one of them two, because...
It's Nolan North.
Yeah. So, this new Deadpool movie,
Yeah.
I've heard that it's meant to be, like, rather quite gory, but...
Yes, it is. It is. Like, they show off cutting heads and smashing body and all. Like, slicing through the body. Deadpool just cuts off his hand, and they show it.
But I think Deadpool, I think he's got the same sort of thing as Wolverine, where he can cut himself when he re-heals or something.
Actually, Wolverine cannot cut himself.
So
I mean,
that,
he can't.
David.
He cannot cut the entire part of the body, though.
Well, he can't cut his arm off because he's got the adamantium skeleton, which is indestructible, sort of thing.
Which was, but now, I mean, it depends on the storyline of the Wolverine. Sometimes he has the adamantium in his body, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's back in time and he's got bone, which looks really funny.
But the thing with Deadpool is he can never die. So that's his curse, actually.
So this movie, does it sort of say that it starts off in like modern times, or is it like Wolverine where he's like 200 years old or whatever?
And no, it's modern time.
It's modern, so he basically is like a 30-year-old man who gets this happen to him.
Yes.
And then from then on, now he's immortal, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think I will watch this movie, because, again, I am a fan of, like, a lot of these sort of superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
The last Avengers movie, I wasn't too thrilled.
To be honest, I didn't like the last Avenger movie. I mean, it wasn't up to the point, though.
It was watchable, but it didn't...
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It wasn't outstanding. It was
The first Avengers movie was so good. I mean, the expectation was so high with this one.
Yeah, and I think the first one, just with the bit where Loki's like saying, "You can't hurt me," or whatever to the Hulk, and he just grabs him and just swings him round.
Yeah, and also that scene that when Hulk says that he can control his anger and he changes into Hulk. I think that's the second last scene of the movie.
So, Bob, off the top of your head, how many fourth wall breaking jokes does Deadpool make in this movie?
I cannot exactly remember, but like hundreds of them. Like, he just has to say whatever comes to his mind. Like, yeah.
Because my friend watched it, and apparently there's a bit in a fighting scene near the beginning, he said, where he literally walks up to the camera and deadpan just says something obvious. And I can't remember what... And I'm just there like, I like fourth wall breaking jokes. Like, when they're done well. But I feel like if I know Deadpool, which I don't really know him that well, I only really know him from the game. That's pretty much all I know him from. But it could get stale, because I remember playing the game and I heard the jokes over and over. Not like he was repeating the jokes, it was just the same obvious fourth wall breaking jokes. Does it ever get stale? Or is there a part where you go, okay, you've had fun now, sort of thing?
I don't think so.
Good. Because there's not... You can have a joke that doesn't work, but you can have a joke that goes stale, and I'd rather hear a joke that doesn't work, to be honest.
So, I mean, a lot of people who listen to this might be American, and they might not understand this, but in the UK, comics were never that big. I mean, we had maybe Spider-Man and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but not the comics like they had in America, like the gothic, dark sort of style. it was a bright, colourful 5-year-old sort of style comics. You know, where you got like a free pen or a little whistle or something on the front of the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wondered, what was the comic scene like back in India?
Well, I think it's the same as
like
UK. Like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and...
I think it's only recently, maybe in the last, I'd say about 5 years, Sean, where a lot of these specialty comic book shops have actually popped up.
Mm.
But, I mean, they're not UK magazines. They're all imported from America.
Yeah. I remember when I was quite young, there was a shop I used to go all the time in Leeds, because it sold games, but it also sold comics all lined up on the back. And
I bet they had Pokemon cards as well.
Yeah, I collected Pokemon cards back in the day. Shut up. I like Pokemon back in the day. I don't like it anymore. Because, you know...
It's the same
I'm a
game.
grown-ass man, that's why. If the game got released today and no one ever heard of it, I'd still hate it. Because it's just so bad. We're getting off topic, but... Oh, God. I almost hate Pokemon. I hate that I actually liked it at one point. But yeah, like comics, they were... The only comics we got were very UK-based ones, like... What's that?
Yeah.
What's that one called?
The Beano and a Dandy and...
Not that, it's that adult one.
Archie?
No.
Oh, that's American.
Was it Viz? Or Wiz?
Oh, yeah, Viz. Yeah, Viz.
Yeah, I remember my dad had that at one point, and I read it as a kid, and I was like, they're naked.
Yeah, they've had to change some of the names of the characters, like the two fat slags.
I remember that. Oh, God. I think there was a cartoon on it on VHS, and I watched it when I was really young. Oh, God. But, yeah. Anyway, back to Deadpool. Yeah. I don't know.
So, Deadpool itself then, does it end where you're not going to carry on with sequels, or does it end where you think they could just end it there and that'd do?
No. Actually, you know that there's a sequel coming up because I think that they already planned for it, and they got like,
I know they are doing a sequel, and they've got, I think Cable, they've got him coming in. Yeah,
so at the end, he doesn't die or something because he cannot die. He gets an offer from X-Men, so that's the ending point. So now the question is whether he accepts it or not, the offer to join X-Men.
Do you think he will join, or...?
I don't think so. I mean, not according to the comics and all.
Because I know there's rumours that they were going to do a Deadpool crossover with an X-Men movie.
Yeah, I heard about it, but yesterday I was scrolling through and I saw that they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I think they said they are planning, but they're going to be doing the Deadpool sequel as is, and then they're going to be doing an X-Force movie, which, again, we're not American, we don't know what the hell that is. I guess it's just like another X-Men spin-off sort of thing. And then they said after that's
done... There's a website called IGN, which is also just like One Up Gaming, game reviewing site. So
that's good.
They posted about, like, there's no Deadpool X-Men crossover movie in near future. Like 19 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think they're going to get those movies done and then they'll have a think about what they're doing after that.
I, for one, would love to see that if there's a crossover.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is the X-Men movies, they're basically made for, like, 12-year-olds. Or to be released for 12 to get more people in to see them. Whereas if they get Deadpool in, they'd they'd either have to tone it down a lot, or they'd have to make it an R-rated movie for America, which a lot of them don't like doing.
Yeah.
Because I think this Deadpool's the biggest opening weekend of an R-rated movie of all time in America.
I think that could be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thing's stupid. I saw an article about a kid, a mother, who was complaining that her son was watching...
Mother!
Yeah. Dave, you just got me off track there. They were saying they watched the movie and they were complaining that, you know, for his son, I think he was like 8 or 9, was like seeing this from a comic book movie, this despicable, this evil, this disgusting, foul-mouthed, you know, blood splattered. And I was just there like, 1, why would you bring your son to an R-rated movie? And 2, why was the cinema show it? Why did they allow the kid in? Like really,
in America, as long as you're accompanied with an adult, you can go into any movie.
That's no excuse. Like, oh god, people really annoy me. I really does. But I want to ask one question since you've watched it, Bob.
Yeah.
I am not a comic book guy, or a Marvel.
You're not that fat.
That's just mean. You're stereotyping comic book guy from The Simpsons, and that's not.
You got it. You got it.
I got it. It was not funny. Can I ask the question without being interrupted, please?
Oh, sorry. So I'll just sit back. Go on.
As you should. Right. I'm not a comic book person. Or a Marvel film. I don't think I've ever watched any like recent Marvel film apart from Guardians of the Galaxy, because I told my friend I don't like these movies because I'm just not a comic book guy. I don't care about the lore, even though it's connected, and I think that's pretty cool. None of the characters interest me. I don't know any of their motives. I don't hardly even know their real name or whatever. But he said Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of the same. It kind of follows the Marvel universe, but it's good for newcomers and you'll like it. I watched it, and there were parts where it cut away from shots and we're talking about this evil person, where I just really wanted to see a lot of comedy and slapstick humour, maybe a good action scene here and there, and I got that. But these sort of diversions took me away, and I know there's a lot of people out there thinking, I know Deadpool, he's funny, but is there a lot of cutaways that would ruin that sort of, like, do I have to be a Marvel fan of any kind to enjoy this movie?
I don't think so.
That's good. So
there's no...
Sorry.
Yeah, there's no really, there's no story. I mean, you don't need to watch any previous movie or something to watch this. It's like totally different kind of.
So
I mean, the best thing I can say, Sean, is that this isn't made by Marvel Studios.
Fox Studios.
It's actually made by Fox. So basically, like the X-Men movies, where they're standalone within the Marvel universe. So you don't have to. They don't link in with the Marvel Studios movies.
Yeah.
Whereas the Marvel Studios, they all link in with one another.
Yeah.
Whereas so the Deadpool one, it'll basically stand on its own. But I think because it's been so popular, I think Fox will start to try and do what Marvel are doing, and they'll put Deadpool in X-Men or some other X-Men within the Deadpool movies, but they've only got the rights to like the X-Men and other bits and bobs. They don't have like the full Marvel universe.
That's good, because I think I'm going to see it next week.
I would say that I knew about Deadpool before watching the movie, but I never played the game or read the book. I just watched the movie, and I was so, I was an instant fan of Deadpool, so I bought the game after watching the movie, which seems odd because the game came like 2 years ago. Yeah, that's the I think that was the first time I ever saw that.
So, just before we go, because we've been on for like 20 minutes or something now, would you say this has been one of the better Marvel movies recently?
I would say yes.
Right, so that's good enough for me, because I mean, I think there's been no bad, like, Marvel movies. Even the Spider-Man ones, which weren't great, I could still sit and watch them.
Mm.
You know, and if it's up there with the better... I mean, Ant-Man got quite bad reviews, but I watched it recently, and I really enjoyed that movie.
Mm.
So, I mean, it might be one of those where it's slightly a bit different, so it might be something I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you for that, Bob.
Oh, my pleasure.
We'll go for a quick break, and we'll be back sometime, somewhere over the rainbow.
Fly through space, rescue cats, score big points. Download Per Rocket for free today. Visit www.perrocket.com.
Right then, so we're still here. It's still me, Sean, and Bob.
Hello.
Hi.
And
How you do?
this is great Skyping it. You say something, and then like 5 seconds later you reply.
Because you're just... We don't want to interrupt you, though. You know,
Anyway. Sean.
Yes.
What TV show are you talking about today?
Well, so on the previous episode, I talked about F is for Family, which I wouldn't.
Sean, you're supposed to do proper epic. Previously on
the last episode, Sean talked about F is for Family,
and basically, if I saw that first without seeing what I'm about to talk about, BoJack Horseman, I wouldn't even consider watching it, because I think adult cartoons, you know, I think they're done. There's not a lot that goes past. Family Guy, it was good.
I tell you what.
Tell me what?
This won't include Bob whatsoever, but I just saw an advert today saying that Family Guy is on ITV2 as of this Friday or something.
That's weird, because it's usually on BBC Three.
Yeah, but BBC Three is going off air.
Is it? Oh, no!
And I don't think the BBC wanted to re-license Family Guy. So I think Family Guy and American Dad are going to ITV2.
Hmm. Well, go to ITV2 for your Family Guy thrills. But like, I think they've gone. There's only a few that I like Archer, which I might talk about, and stuff like that.
I've never seen that, but I've heard really good things.
It's got like the past 2 new seasons are a bit give or take, but I think 1 till 5 are just fantastic. Great one-liners, but we're not talking about that. We are talking about BoJack Horseman, which I will say confidently, without a doubt, one of the smartest shows I've ever seen in my life. And basically, I'll talk about the plot. It's about a horse, well, an anthropomorphic. Am I saying that right?
To me, that means it's got a human body, legs and arms, but with a horse's head.
That's pretty much it. And it's basically, it's kind of it's an alternate universe, I'd say. Everything's the same. It's set
from people with horse heads.
you know, and stuff.
I wonder what his junk's like.
I think there's a joke about that. I don't know. Watch and find out. David, watch and find out. It's so like I said, it's an alternate universe where we have humans, but there's no real animals. They're also anthropomorphic, and it follows BoJack Horseman, which he was famous in the 80s, early 90s for doing a show called Horsing Around, and it's your typical yeah, I know, very very smart. If you're gonna laugh,
Sorry.
if you're gonna laugh at that, you might as well just watch it because they say it a lot. But it's your typical, US TV sitcom back there. You sort of like Full House and stuff like that. But then it cuts to present day, 2015, 2016. Well, 2015, obviously, because that's when it was released. But it talks about an actor who has basically just lost his mettle. He's hardly into anything. He owns a really nice house. He has a nice life, but he's got nothing going for him anymore. And then the first season is mostly him basically trying to write a book. But surprisingly, it doesn't go into that a lot. It goes into other characters who are really memorable characters. Like, apart from F is for Family, where obviously I forgot the names. I'm really sorry. I remember the names. Obviously, BoJack Horseman, because the name's in the title. But you got Todd, you got Princess Carolyn, you got Diana, you got Mr. Peanut Butter. You got all these wacky characters who they're really funny, but they're really deep and depressing at times. Like, with F is for Family, it's very situational, but like the jokes and the heavy stuff, they're hand in hand ish. Where they perfectly have comedy and drama, and a couple of scenes, especially in season 2, where I was crying. And I hate saying that because I know you probably because I looked at it first and I was like, no, it's gonna be rubbish. It's gonna be boring. But I watched an episode on YouTube on Geeky Glasses TV, which if you haven't seen, watch it because he does a series called Why It's Awesome. And I saw BoJack Horseman and I watched it, and it voiced all the doubts I had of it, saying that one, the animation, it's average. It's not breathtaking or anything. You're not going to be like, ooh, look at the colours. It's not like that. And also the fact that it's animals just seems stupid. But they cleverly work in, like, they have a lot of animal comedy, which I know it sounds weird, but they have a lot of jokes which just make me laugh all the time. But then they have serious scenes that are so gripping. Like, I don't want to talk about it too much because I will just spoil everything. There is a lot of things that happen in this that you have to go in blind to fully appreciate it. So I don't know if you have any questions because I'm running out of steam without trying to spoil this. Please save me.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix. It's a main Netflix show. I believed it premiered recently on US TV. I might be wrong. And it has 2 episodes. I believe each has 12 episodes. Say 30-minute episode each. Yeah, I think that's answered your question.
Yeah, but I think that some people might not know, but Horse and Run was an actual show back in 1987, featuring BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, because I remember, because I was searching BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
And it actually came up with the show.
Yeah.
And I was there and I watched like 5 minutes of the first episode, and I wasn't sure if it was or not. So you're saying it was?
Yeah, Horse and Run. The creator is the same, Raphael Bob Wachtberg.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was an actual show.
Cool.
I actually did not know that. I thought it was all part of the thing. That you learn something new every day.
It came around 1987.
Yeah. So there we are. So, yeah, the things that I also thought were really stupid, like Will Arnett voices BoJack Horseman, that's fine. But for fans of Breaking Bad, it also has Aaron Paul, which when I saw that, I thought, that is going to be horrible. Because he works in Breaking Bad, but I don't think he could be a voice actor per se. But the character they wrote from him fits very well. He's like a 20-something slacker who lives in BoJack's apartment because he just moved in one day after a party and didn't really move back out. And it really shows us, because I'm not sure Aaron Paul's been in much, but basically he was only famous for Breaking Bad. And that was it.
I watched a horror movie with him in not too long ago. It must have been before, he did anything big.
Wasn't he in Need for Speed, the movie?
Yeah, that was it.
Yes. And that was a really, really good movie.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. Yeah, but he has a good quote of films, but that I don't recognise any of them. Like apparently he's in Mission Impossible 3. I don't know, and he's been on a lot of TV shows, but I don't recognise him. And then it says Breaking Bad, and it's like, boom, main role. Look what he's got nominated for, and then BoJack Horseman, and that's pretty much it. That's it. I can't talk about this film. I really can't. It's so good. You have to go in blind, because I know, Bob, you've seen a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I think that's good. I mean, yeah. Comparing with F is for Family, I think both are like equally worthy of funny animated series title. Yeah, it's kind of clever. How the storyline goes and the jokes in particular.
Is it as good as my favourite adult cartoon?
Which is?
Mr. Pickles.
What the hell is Mr. Pickles? What the hell, Mr. Pickles? Oh my god, not that! That is a trope. That is horrible. Please tell me you're joking. Please tell me, because I remember
It is absolutely amazingly funny.
No, it's not. There's dark comedy, and then there's what the fuck comedy, and that is what the fuck comedy. That is the most disturbing thing I've ever watched, and I've seen Human Centipede 1, 2, and 3. Honest, Bob, please tell me you haven't seen Mr. Pickles.
I haven't seen Mr. Pickles.
Don't watch it. Oh,
it's amazing.
No, it's not.
What's bad about it?
Oh my god. No. Oh my god, I'm trying to get it out of my mind. It's just disturbing. Like, not in a funny way. Like, I couldn't call it dark comedy. It's not even a comedy. It's just dark. But it plays as a comedy.
Oh, it's so funny.
No, it's not. Oh my god.
I mean, Bob.
Yeah.
I'll explain one scene in the movie, in one of the episodes.
Okay.
Basically, I'll just explain what the concept is.
Yeah.
It's a dog called Mr. Pickles who looks like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't talk, doesn't do anything, but it can hypnotize other animals to do his will.
Okay.
And basically, he's a dog that's basically like possessed by the devil or something. Like a demon dog. And he lives with a family who the little kid and the mother and father just think he's a normal dog. The granddad who lives with him knows he's evil, but no one believes him. And basically on one episode, a hunter tries to kill the dog. And basically what happens is the dog somehow manages to cut his head off, cut his arms and legs off.
Oh my god.
And starts humping the actual decapitated skull.
Oh yeah, there's a picture. Right when you search for Mr. Pickles, there's that picture.
And It's just the most random, totally out there thing I've ever seen.
Is it darker than South Park?
Oh my god, yeah.
Because I love South Park.
I think you have to be twisted to like it.
Okay.
And
we know
a
lot more about you now because... Oh my god. Why did you make me remember that?
You need to watch the full season.
I am not watching that. I think I watched
They have
2
like
episodes.
one season
Oh, it's so good.
with 10 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh, God.
So, Sean,
Oh, yes, what?
out of the 2 series that you've talked about, which would you recommend first?
Mr. Pickles, obviously. Right, if I recommend it first, it's easily BoJack Horseman. One, because it has a lot more jokes, quite very funny jokes, but it also has a good storyline that you can binge watch and watch the next episode again and again. F for Family just has just a little less, but I'd still recommend it. I think, honestly, before that, if you've got a Netflix account, watch Bill Burr's live stand-up show. If you like what you see, you will like F is for Family. That is what I'd recommend. But first, watch BoJack Horseman. If the first episode doesn't get you hooked, then I'd say you will not like the rest. F is for Family, you have to give it a little bit of leeway. But if you like Bill Burr's comedy, instantly go for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think that will do. We've had another 15-minute chat about something.
If you're a gamer, I want to welcome you to the next generation of gaming. OneUpGaming.co.uk. It's a gaming review website, and if you love gaming, you must check it out. OneUpGaming.co.uk offers a weekly podcast that's uploaded every Sunday. They have game reviews, interviews, a weekly blog, video game roundups, a weekly PlayStation roundup. At OneUpGaming.co.uk, they review games on all platforms, including PC, Xbox, Wii U, PlayStation, 3DS, and iPads. There's so many video games out there. Everyone has their favorites. OneUpGaming.co.uk is an online gaming community that brings people who love gaming together to share their passion with others around the globe. Content is uploaded daily, so there's always something new and fresh to read. They also have competitions and giveaways. Don't miss their newsletter and weekly podcast. There's so much going on at OneUpGaming.co.uk for gamers. You can also follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. So check them out. OneUpGaming.co.uk.
So what is the movie you want to talk about today, Sean?
The movie I want to talk about is actually a TV show.
Alright.
Ooh, we've just gone round. Well, TV show, it's a Netflix exclusive. So am I
low budget then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say low budget. It's a adult cartoon.
That sounds wrong.
Only you would say that's wrong. Only you. Okay. Like
how many tentacles?
There's only 2. Actually, there is actually a sex scene in this. It's not sexual. It's like uncomfortably bad. Like. It's just wrong, basically. But basically, it's called F is for Family. Netflix exclusive. I don't believe it's been on TV. But the reason I watched it, because it was part of my recently added. I think it was also the spotlight for that whenever I watched it. And I thought, that looks a bit rubbish, to be honest. Like you said, the cartoon, it's just lower tier sort of Family Guy animation. So I thought it was a bit... I can't really think of a cartoon that's similar to it. It's kind of its own thing, in a sense. I'd say it's sort of like first season Family Guy. That's the best way I could describe it. But
Right.
But I saw it was written, whichever the one is, written and stars Bill Burr, which you probably won't know.
No.
He's a comedian. He's not my favourite comedian, but I love watching his stand-up every now and again. So I thought, oh, well, I'll have a go. And it has Justin Long in it, and others.
I've heard of Justin Long.
Yeah, he's the...
Was he in the original Jeepers Creepers?
Yes. What a terrible film.
It was good until it turned out to be a mystical beast or something.
Oh, God, that film was horrible. But yeah, and I watched it. Basically, the first season, usually in most cartoons, they start by, naming the characters, giving them personalities, and it's sort of a Seinfeld sort of start, if you know what I mean. There's not usually a big plot or anything, if that makes sense. Or if it is, it's usually ridiculous. Like, the first episode of South Park was Cartman getting an anal probe, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I believe the first episode of Family Guy was something about someone dying, I believe, if I remember correctly. So, but this one kind of jumps in, like, I missed a couple of episodes, but the characters are quite well written. Like, especially Bill Burr. Bill Burr's character is absolutely hilarious at times. You won't understand because you haven't seen his stand-up, but he can, when he does stand-up, he can imitate conversations, especially arguments, very well. And even though this is a cartoon, I believe they're actually shouting at each other. It's quite disturbing at some parts. There's one episode, I can't remember which one it is, I believe it's actually the first one, where basically the premise is they're getting a new TV, and this is set in the 1970s, and they get a new colour TV, which back then was like owning riches. So they're pulling together all that, you'll know, and they're pulling together.
Oh, thanks.
They're pulling together as much money as they can. They spend it on this, and the son has a science project to do about magnets, and they've got a new TV. I think you can understand what goes on next. So he accidentally breaks the TV, and they have this huge argument, and they repeat this thing, just, did you pour water down the back of the TV? It sounds random, but they make it funny just by repeating it so many times and getting angrier and just more, and then he goes to the salesman. It's such a hard episode, whole season to talk about, because it's not like, it's Family Guy. You could basically watch any episode in any order and nothing would be, there's no continuity. It's like an episode is like a film in itself, if that makes sense.
It's a self-contained unit.
Yeah, that's the one. But this one follows a path. Like, the 5th and 6th episode almost take place after each other. In fact, all of them kind of do. It takes place between, it takes place between sort of wintry, and it ends on Christmas Eve. And it's really sad at some points. Like, it didn't make me, like, cry sort of sad, but it's, I don't want to spoil it, because it's actually quite a good ending, and it will spoil a lot if you watch the first episode. Something happens to the main character, and I really want to see the next season on how it goes along. And the jokes are sort of, how, sort of, it's like it says in the title, it's huge family banter, but it's just on the aggressive side. Like, Bill's character, for some reason I can't remember his name, I literally watched it yesterday. But he's very bitter about, the main title sequence, really brilliantly, I might add, basically tells his whole backstory without any voiceover or anything weird. It tells him how he had his whole life ahead of him, but then he had a draft notice, then he gets sent off to war, then he came back, survived the war, but even then he met Lorraine, his wife, and then also had his 3 kids. and he started a family, and his life has gone nowhere. He's the head, not the head, he's the head of a department of a airport. He's like the baggage handler sort of deal, you know what I mean? So he controls that, but he doesn't control it himself. And it just goes through his life. Like, there's one episode where his son, played by Justin Long, is basically flunking school. And they have this car journey, and he's pretending to his son that he's getting sent off to Korea to war. And you might think it's either jokey or sort of serious, and he balanced it correctly. But there's this one line I remember, it stuck out in my head. I'm like, this is fucked up. This bit is really fucked up. He goes, if a child comes towards you, he's trying to flank his position, so spear him with your rifle and hold it above to send a message to the other children. I was like, what? And then it ends with, it goes like, oh, Jesus Christ, Kevin, I'm not taking you to Korea. He says, no. He says, no, they take 18-year-old flunkies. You're only a 14-year-old flunky. And it's like, if my dad did this to me, I don't know what the hell I'd do. I'd break down into tears. And he does, basically, and so there's only 6 episodes. It's really hard to explain. The jokes sort of work, but you can get a bit. If you're very easily offended, do not watch this.
So, I mean, is it like funny, or is it more like the Napoleon Dynamite, where it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's humorous?
It's not even like that. I really like it. It's kind of dark comedy, in a sense. It's like, and some of them are really quick fire. They just spam out at you like one sentence, sort of really funny, and some of them are really despicable almost. They're cringy, some of them, and that's the problem with the jokes. I can take both of them, but if you're the kind who only likes one of them, you'll laugh at some, but then you'll probably hate the rest. Like I told you, that joke about, spearing a Korean kid and holding him above, that's sort of the dark joke. One of the funniest ones is when he's kissing his wife, his son walks into the room and says, ew, get a room. He just looks back and goes, fuck off, get an apartment. It's little jokes like that, and that was like one of the lines that just made me laugh out, just because it was just so quickly delivered. But it can get dark and quite serious. Literally, the family falls apart in these, and at the end, it seems to be all good and bad. But like I said, at the end, there's a lingering sort of thing at the end. But the family breaks down a lot. Like the dad likes the little daughter, obviously, little kid, little precious. The middle son, in the middle, he doesn't want to be like his teenager, who's a punk. He listens to odd music. He smokes pot, that kind of thing. And his wife, who doesn't even work, she's like not like a housewife. She does these sort of jobs for plasterware. It's not really fully explained in that sense, or at least I'm not getting it. But she does like odd jobs, but she doesn't really get paid for it, so it's not really called a job even. And then she gets a job at once, and then the family tears apart, and it's awful. They get some jokes out of it, but if you think this is really serious, then you're really not going to like it. But I'd say watch the first, maybe second episode, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. But if you're a fan of Bill Burr and you haven't watched it, I think you'll like his style of comedy, because it's very similar.
So how long is each episode, roughly?
It's a half hour, about 20-25 minutes, obviously. And 6 episodes for the first season. I'm not sure if they're renewing it for a second so far. I'm pretty sure they are, but I haven't heard a date yet. So it will take 3 hours-ish of your time. And I watched it all one night, through and through, and left me in tears nearly at the end. had a few good laughs, and me being dumb, the characters are memorable, I just can't remember the name for some reason. Like, I know the son's called Bill, so I think, because he wrote it as well, Bill Burr, I think that was his attempt of, that's his character. And
I mean, if this is correct, I've got on here, it's the Murphy family.
Yeah.
Burr will voice the role of Frank Murphy.
Frank, that's it, yeah.
The family's extreme. Laura Dern voices Sue. And Justin Long voices oldest son Kevin.
Kevin.
And it's funny because it says Justin Long, and then it's got in brackets 2 movies that he's been in.
Which?
And none of them are the ones that we talked about earlier.
Which one?
The Breakup and Live Free and Die Hard, or Live Free or Die Hard.
Oh, the only film I know him from was Accepted.
I've never even heard of that.
That is... It's one of those college movies. When I say college movies, you know what I mean. It's sort of like American Pie sort of thing. But kind of a tame version. I'm not going to be talking about that on this because that was it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was very in between. Like, I want to cover films, either popular films that people want to get a review on before they go in, or like underrated films that I feel like get swept under the carpet for reasons unknown. Because I've got a couple off my head on Netflix, because they usually spout out stuff that no one's even heard of, and they give a second glance, and then I'll watch it. I'll watch like 1 out of 5-star movies just for a laugh, but then a lot of them I'll be like, why is this 1 out of 5-star? I've got a load in my head. Movies like that I always put on, like, I'm not sure what it's called on Netflix, wish list sort of thing. Sort of like view later kind of films.
Yeah.
My list, that's what it's called. And I think I've got about 8 of films that I just, like, either remember or watched and was like, I want to watch this again. Like, and I probably forget it because I just don't think about it, sort of thing. So, yeah, there we go. That's pretty much F is for Family. Dark, yet humorous.
That's not bad. That's about 15 minutes for that one there.
Boom.
So we'll have a quick break and we'll be back with something else.
Hi everybody, this is Kermit the Frog here, reminding you to listen to the Game Up One, damn it, what's it called? Alright, are we rolling? Alright, keep it going, alright, let's go. Hurry up, we got a lunch date. Alright, let's go. Hi there, this is Kermit the Frog here, reminding you to listen to the One Up Gaming Podcast on whatever station it's podcasting on.
And we're back again, and I'm not sure if we thought of a name for this just yet, so we'll just keep it random at the minute. So I'm going to talk about a movie that I just watched recently, and the movie is Spotlight, which is probably the best movie I've seen in the last 5 years. Really good movie.
David?
Yes.
What's it about, sir?
It's about how the amazing church is a bunch of paedophiles. Basically.
Oscar worthy. I can see the positive reviews now. That's definitely not going to have any controversy. Well, did it have any controversy?
It was basically it's based on a true story of how the Boston Globe uncovered the massive scale of child molestation and cover-up within the Catholic Church, basically. And it's one of those things where it's a fairly low-budget movie, and 2 of the main actors in it, Mark Ruffalo and Michael Keaton, are absolutely on top form. Brilliant.
Yeah, I can't think of a movie that Michael Keaton in that was bad, well, apart from Jack Frost. That was a terrible movie.
You say that, but I tried watching Birdman and I got maybe about 20 minutes and turned it off.
That's a good movie.
I might give it another go.
You should. I'd recommend it.
And I mean, one of my favourite actors is in this as well. I'm gonna murder his name, but is it Lev Schreiber?
Lev Schreiber. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't recognise him. Got a picture of him. I don't.
You don't recognise him?
No.
And everybody's favourite, Stanley, is it Tucci?
Stanley Tucci, yes. I thought you were about to say Stan Lee. I was like, Stan Lee? What's he doing? Go back to Marvel. But yeah. Leisha, I don't know. I'm going to quickly check what films he was in, because I'm pretty sure he's done a lot of films.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's one of those stories where you find out later on in the movie that people had passed the newspaper stories of like 20 priests in the area. They've got proof of them molesting children.
Yeah.
But the paper had just sort of printed in the back section a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
So it's basically they didn't want to know, or they didn't want to dig. And it's really good because the Spotlight team is basically they find out a story they want to cover, and 4 of them basically just take 5-6 months or so just researching that one area and getting all the evidence and talking to loads of people, and then they release that as their big story.
Yeah.
And then they go and pick another thing which can take another 6 months and then do another story sort of thing. And the Lev Shive, whatever his name is, he basically is the new owner of the newspaper.
Yeah.
And he's coming in and he has a meeting with the head of the Spotlight sort of person, which is the ex-Batman guy, Michael Keaton. And basically they're saying that because you guys do one story every 6 months, there might be layoffs because we can't afford to pay you, because newspapers, it's set in, I think, 94. And is it 94 or is it 2004? I can't remember now.
2001.
It's set then when basically a lot of them were going online.
Yeah.
And newspaper physical sales were down. So there were... And basically, you find out while they're doing investigations that some of the lawyers are actually doing deals with individual priests.
Yeah.
So it keeps them out of the papers, and then they pay off the person who they molested. And then the church knows what happened, and they put them into like retirement or new parish somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those movies where, I mean, Mark Ruffalo, he could really, really play a good Columbo.
Yeah.
Because he looks like Columbo, he's got a lazy squint eye or whatever. And with his detective sort of work where he's like milling around as if he doesn't know what he's doing, but you can tell that he's really quite intelligent and getting all the facts and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were talking to someone who said that he was like a psychiatrist or whatever on the phone, and he was saying that under his estimates there'd be about 90 priests in the Chicago area. No, sorry, Boston. I don't even know where Boston or Chicago, I don't know if they're close or not, but...
They're neighbours.
But within...
Just do that.
Yeah.
Right next to Balls for Brooklyn.
Yeah. So basically,
I'm just saying if we can get to see that movie, we have to cover that next episode. I do really want to see that film.
I've got the new trailer. If you want to see it.
Oh, the new trailer.
I think I've got a new trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch that after that. So is it sort of like a crime sort of thing, like a crime sort of film? Does that make sense? Or is it more like drama-y? Or is it, you know what I mean?
It's like a courtroom drama, but they're not in the courtroom that often.
Right.
Hardly ever.
So like Liar Liar, but...
No.
Oops, I dropped everything. So, like... I'm looking at the poster, scanning the plot. So not looking at the ending. Obviously this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't know the actual story, so...
You don't know the story?
Yeah. Did I say something wrong?
Well, it's common knowledge, isn't it?
Well, it says it's set in 2001.
Yeah.
I didn't know September 11 happened until 2003. So, yeah, I'm young. You need to know I'm young.
Basically, right at the end of the movie, it says that they... No, it's everyone knows this, don't worry.
Yeah, everyone knows this, that's why I'm explaining it to me.
At the end of the movie, the guy says that with his sort of like determinations of all the figures, that there'll be roughly 90 priests within that area that have been caught and moved on or put into retirement or whatever. And it turns out at the end they find, I think it's 87 that they can prove, and they do the story, and then they, instead of moving on to another project, they continue digging and digging and digging. And then it comes right at the end, it basically says that, I can't remember how many thousand priests that they find.
Yeah.
And it sort of says that these other places they discovered had real bad child molestation, and it's got like Leeds, Middlesbrough, and like everywhere. It's just got hundreds of cities, just about it's got three or four screens, and every screen's got like maybe 150 names on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when you sort of sit back and think, holy shite, this has been going on for years.
Yeah.
And the church knew about it.
There's always that big thing about the church, which I don't want to get in because I don't want to, burn bridges and stuff. But I like films, like, especially, I do like based on a true story films, especially stuff that I don't really know about. I mean, I've heard about the Catholic Church and stuff, and basically the paedophile thing. And I'm going weirdly off of topic now, but it was weird for me learning that as a kid because I believed in God, and at one point, because I was born in the country and I went to a Catholic school, so we got taught that as if it was real, which I'm not saying it isn't. Just not trying to burn any bridges. Just they got taught that, and obviously when I went into secondary school, still believing it, I went into RE, and not only did I learn about different religions, so I don't know if it's true or not. I also learned about these facts about priests and associates that suddenly got unearthed as being a paedophile, and then they go into jail or whatever, and they go, all right, that's fine, okay, that must be all of them, that's fine, and in a couple of years down the line it happens again. And when I think back, that really creeped me out because I went to church all the time, and I was I was a choir boy as well, So it really scares me when I think about stuff like that.
I mean, like, I remember years and years and years ago, because I'm nearly 35 now, and my brother got christened, and then, when did you get christened? When you're about 2?
About that.
Is it there?
2-ish, 3-ish. Usually before you go into primary school.
Yeah. And then it was all set up and ready for me to go get christened, and then stories started coming out that our local priest liked little boys. And I never got christened.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, it's just the way you said that. Likes little boys.
But I mean, if that was like the whole big story and that, you know, if it came out within the public and that, but even when I was like 16, 17, he was still the priest. You know, so I mean, you don't know if these things were true or not, but after seeing this program where thousands of people were doing it, if there was a story back in the mid-80s, early 80s, then I could easily believe that might have actually happened.
Kind of weird. There's actually a lot of, just searching this film, there's a lot of reaction from the actual Catholic Church. Like, some are actually saying it was honest and compelling, and some were saying, in a Bible sort of sense, to accept fully the sin, to admit it publicly, and to pay all the consequences. But someone said what they said was they promoted the church to deal what was shameful and hidden. But then there's criticisms saying it was a misinterpretation and it was false. And I'm just there thinking, yeah, because you know what I mean. So it's really weird. It's very. I like controversial films, so I might give it a go.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's not pushy about its morals. It's dealing with what they're showing as fact. You know, but as I say, it is. I mean, I love this sort of movie where it's quite slow and plodding, but there's no let up whatsoever in anything. It just continues to go and go. And I mean, when they're interviewing some of the people, and one of the women of the team she finds one of the priests that's actually on the names of the people that's been secretly moved on.
Yeah.
And she starts talking to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I molested young boys."
Oof.
And you know, he's like, "Oh, I never raped him. You know, I never did anything like that." And then like his wife or carer comes out and sort of says, "Get back in. You're not allowed to talk to anyone." You know, but he was like proper open and smiling about it, which
that's creepy.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've talked about this for long enough.
Yeah.
So I would easily say, go watch the movie. It's absolutely a stunning movie. So, yeah, that's Spotlight. That's another great one.
Do you have trouble sleeping? Tossing and turning all night? Nothing you do seems to help. You're not getting your recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Well, now there's a solution. Now there's Fat Cat Fly. With Fat Cat Fly, you'll easily get the sleep that you deserve. Download for free on the iOS App Store, and you're guaranteed to get a good night's sleep with very few side effects, as you help a fluffy kitty eat all the junk food that he wants. Side effects may include sleeplessness and desire for cheeseburgers. If erection lasts more than 5 hours, see a physician. Try Fat Cat Fly today. Visit facebook.com/fatcatfly, because you deserve a better life.
Right then, so that was episode 193. Still me, David. Just saying, hope you've enjoyed something a little bit different. Please email us or tweet us, see how you think that went. If we get some positive feedback, then we will look at doing more movies and TV sort of shows. Talk about them, see what we like, what we don't like, things like that. Other than that, thank you for listening. It's been just over an hour. and I will say goodbye. So please visit our website, oneupgaming.co.uk. If you want to buy some nice tech, we've got a couple of new things added to our site, which is ougtech.co.uk. And we've stopped selling the Eagle Box. We've got one left, so if anyone wants that, you can buy that. But we are moving into I think it's a JPD. It's a Q9 and the XD. Is it XD? DX? Something like that. But we've got 2 of them on the way, so we'll do some videos and stuff. But again, I can't really do a lot until I get my internet back up and running. So, thank you all, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.
Hey guys, Justin here. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot. Yes, you in particular. In that way. And I wanted to say, I think you're great. I've always said that about you. And I was wondering, if you think we're great, if you could give us a quick rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. It would really, really help us out in that, podcasty sort of way. And if you're feeling particularly festive, perhaps even a little saucy, maybe stop by our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/OUG and see if you can't slip a few bucks our way. After all, every little penny or whatever space money they use in Europe helps out the show. Thanks for listening. OUG Gaming will always be free, but with your support, we can always move forward and always be better.